Good Tuesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. On behalf of Weigel's Fuel and Food that's fast, fresh, and friendly, here's a Weigel's update and a weather update. Easy to say if you're up early this morning. I want to say a big shout out to all our friends who love the brownie batter milk. It's been out for a couple of weeks now, all new. Check it out. It is not just like a single chocolate or a double chocolate. I would describe it as like a triple chocolate. It reminds me of the days maybe when you were licking the bowl of mom's brownie batter in the kitchen. So it's around for a limited time, but you got to check it out. The brownie batter milk, it is delicious, it is new, and it's only around for a short period of time. It's farm to store in 24 when it's better with it's fresh. With Weigel's, of course, it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. The brownie batter milk from Weigel's. Check it out. I think you'll be most impressed. By the way, we've got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about in terms of the weather, because what's interesting to note, as I change my gears here, we have some strong storms that are coming down from Kentucky. So are you sure about that? Yeah, I can see red. I see red. I spy with my little eyes southeast Kentucky getting in on some heavy rain at this hour. It's coming in this direction. We'll talk about that. Close in. I'll do a closer up view here in just a moment. But I wanted to highlight the fact of what's been transpiring from the Weather Service. They have issued an aerial flood watch that's now in effect until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, to be clear, what that means is not everybody gets the same amount of rain. A lot of it is in terminology of using possibility. It's possible. This is possible. That's possible. That means we could have flooding possible for rivers, creeks, and streams. That's the quote on the right. And then another 1 to 2 inches of rain may fall, or higher. That's possible. Many of us now know what happened to Dollywood. Nobody's clairvoyant to know, well, they'll get it and then you won't 50 miles away. But some of us got really a lot of rain over the last week or so, so you know the environment is ripe for more heavy rain. When it rains, it pours when you have high dew points. So just to make note, the flood watch, as it's in effect, runs between now and 5 o'clock tomorrow morning, which means we may have intervals, multiple rounds of showers and storms. And again, these quotes coming by way of the National Weather Service in Morristown, and all that information is found on my Captain Accurate Weather app, which is free with Pete Michaels Traffic. By the way, the visibility, not really a big issue, although it shows some gray areas. We have temperatures right now, 71 degrees in Knoxville, 73 degrees in Oak Ridge. It's stuffy. It's sticky, and if you need more evidence of that, look no further. Look no further than the dew point temperature, which is in the upper 60s to near 70. We got a 72-degree dew point, looks like there in Morristown, 71 in Jacksboro, and 70 in Maryville. So anything that's near 70, it's very stuffy. It's very swampy. We'll look at that here momentarily. But highs today should be in the mid to upper 80s, excuse me. There may be a few 90s to come into play. I'm looking specifically at Athens and Kingston, for example. Oak Ridge could flirt with 90. But again, depending on where these rain downpours develop, just because what's coming down from Kentucky now, it may fall apart, I suspect. And then we'll get another round. It's one of those situations where it's, it's lather up, rinse, and repeat. And we're just going to continue on this path heading forward. I want to say good morning to you if you're on the call. Would love to shout you out because I have some notes here. Steve Stone's on here. Let's say hello to Steve. He says good morning. He's got his sunshine and his happy face. Glad to have Steve on here. He's on YouTube. I can see the little red icon on the bottom right of the ticker there. So glad to have Steve on here. If you have a comment, let me know. Maybe a weather observation. I'll be happy to share it with the group at large. I want to come back on camera real quick. A couple of things to note. I noticed we had a high yesterday of 86. Finished the morning, I should say. Started the morning at 71. So 86, 71. Picked up 0.11 of an inch of rain. Normal high and low is 88, 69. Today's record high is 98. Not going to get there. That came from 1995 and 1954. And speaking of 54, that's the record low set back in 2014. So I like to give you context, I like to give you perspective, and as I'm checking my phone here, I see we got quite a few people. Julia and Kay are watching, Earl is watching, and Bobby is watching. Glad to have you all here. Take a look at this picture. This shows you the flood watch in green, but it also shows you that intense squall line. Now, if you kind of draw the dots, if this is the last 1 hour, looks like it's headed to Big Stone. I'm over here in Rockwood and Knoxville. It doesn't look coming this way. It may miss us. It may miss us here in the heart of Knox County. Certainly West Knox County may be immune from this particular line, but it's headed like it's toward Kingsport, Johnson City, Morristown. We'll keep an eye on that. But again, this is just one round of several rounds that we have in the offering between now 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Bigger picture shows there's not a whole lot going on in Middle Tennessee except a heat advisory in orange. And in Memphis, where it's purple, or technically fuchsia, it is an excessive heat warning. If you need more evidence of that, take a look. I can just do a little query here in Shelby County. I believe that is Memphis. That is Memphis. That's running until 8 o'clock Central Time tonight. Tomorrow night, excuse me. So they're going to be under the heat, excessive heat for some time, and our temperatures will continue to boil up and start get us back into the 90s. We haven't been in the 90s for quite some time. Still some showers and storms around parts of the Great Lakes. We have severe weather across parts of, looks like severe watches in parts of Iowa, and more activity maybe in scattered form across parts of the deep South Florida. Might have more activity off the coast. If you got another comment, let me know. I'll do my best to shout you out. Fred says hello. Fred's always good to give me a comment with the temperature. He's got 72 in Maryville. He says, get that Weigel's coffee. Oh, yes, my friend. Absolutely. The Weigel's coffee, fantastic, and a great way to start your morning. As you fill up your tank, don't forget that batter, the brownie batter milk. It is delicious. And Wanda Poe is on the call. Want to say hi to Wanda. She says, good morning, David. Looks cloudy outside. Muggy. Kids start school this week. Oh, my. Think about that. Please be careful. Watch for kids going to school. No doubt. No matter what county you're in, of course, there can be a rolling start. But we'll be keeping an eye on that as kids go back. It's hard to believe summer might be winding down for many kids as they've been enjoying their time on that summer break. All right, let's talk about rainfall. With 0.11 of an inch of rain yesterday, that brings our McGee-Tyson total to the upper right there at 4.37. You know, I like to keep notes. 4.37 month to date. We're still about a ½ inch below normal for the month. Now, 0.88, that's all we need. 0.88 is all we need to get to, I believe. Let's see, go back to the maps. Oops, the maps right there. We need 5.25 to reach a normal July. And I think we're going to reach that before the end of the month. But we are running about we're actually running 4.7 inches above normal for the year. That's kind of a hard thing to wrap around, given the fact we're still under a drought. But because we've been dry for so long in this short period of time, that's what's contributing to our issues. Now, we had a crazy May. Wasn't that long ago. We had over 8.5 inches of rain in the month of May. That was the 4th wettest May on record. And our records, at McGee-Tyson, or at least in Knoxville, go back to 1871. The airport may not have been around that long, but they've kept Knoxville records since 1871. And 8.5 is quite a bit of rain. Now, by the 5 o'clock time frame today, look how the amounts could vary. They could vary from anywhere from 1/4 to 1/3 to 1/2 to maybe close to an inch. And again, these models are not necessarily going to pick up the locally heavy rain situations like we saw in Dollywood the other day. So keep in mind, when it rains, it can pour. This takes us through tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening. Many of us will pick up about 1 to 2 inches of rain before the end of the period over the next couple of days. Even the weekend ahead looks unsettled. These are cumulative virtual rain gauges. So it would suggest about 1.25 inches, 1.3 between Knoxville and Morristown through 5 o'clock on Sunday. We'll see how it plays out. But even if we receive that, we're not going to be talking about drought for much longer. I think it will be removed from the conversation. I think some people are like, I'm ready for enough's enough. I saw that post yesterday on Facebook. So it said, enough already. Enough already. By the way, some of you were saying that about 90s back in the middle of this month. Enough with the 90s. Okay. Well, we haven't had a 90s since what? The middle of, what was it? What day was it? That was the 17th. That's what 13 days or so? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've had quite a few. Almost 2 weeks. Because we're not going to hit 90 today, I don't think. Not officially. So yeah, it's been practically 2 weeks since the 17th of July since we hit 90 degrees. If you're on the call, I want to say good morning to you. Love seeing the fact the comments are trickling in. If you have a note, Michelle Green-Hubbard says, good morning. Glad to have Michelle on here. She's on Facebook. Want to say a shout out to you and I mentioned Fred and Wanda. If you've got a note, I'll do my best to shout you out. Marion's watching. I got Sequoia's watching. Sue is watching. I'm on my phone. You say, how do you know that? I'm just watching. The phone tells me who's watching. Not all leaving comments, but they're watching. I'm glad to know that I'm able to give you some information that might be of use to you. Let's get to the nuts and bolts of the forecast. It is now 6:49. Hardly any wind at the moment. But the good thing is we have hardly much in the way of fog. Fog does not appear to be describing the way this morning is starting off. Clouds, yes, but fog may not be that debilitating in many areas. 77 is the current temperature in Nashville. That's crazy. They're 6 degrees warmer. No wonder they're under a heat advisory. And our friends in Memphis, they're starting off at 79 degrees at 5:50 Central Time, because Memphis is in Central Time. They're starting off near 80. That's crazy. crazy warm to start the morning, practically around 80. And Paducah is at 80. Dew points are off the chart. Out west, they're in the mid-70s. That's swampy. And we're at 69. It's still pretty stuffy here. Whether it's swampy or stuffy, you describe however you want to describe humidity. It's tough. Feels like temperature, maybe a little bit less. All things considered, this is a great product, but usually want to wait till later in the day when it gets warmer. If you're looking at the humidity tracker, which is what I'm looking at here specifically, you'll notice that the green colors only get darker green over time. So that means the dew points are going to be going up, not down, which means the comfort level stays low and it's icky and sticky. Bad hair days, right? It's summer. It's kind of what you expect. But those dark green areas from eastern Kentucky right into East Tennessee through 5 o'clock tomorrow means it's going to be staying very, very humid. And by the time we hit 7 o'clock Thursday, there's not much change, and I wouldn't expect much change, at least in the short term. Certainly the chance of that changing in the next couple of days is pretty small. By the way, the Tuesday outlook, this is this morning, shows you the last 6 hours or so of the clouds. Notice the clouds that are dropping down. It's been maybe partly cloudy much of the night, but where you see some of those blue areas, that's the colder cloud tops moving into Middlesboro. That's where some of the storms are beginning to show signs of redeveloping. Sun came up at 6:43, about 3 minutes after I started. Goes down to bed now at 8:42. And yes, you might be crying because the rain's still in the forecast, or you might have tears of joy because you're so tired of crunchy grass. At least that was the complaint a couple of weeks ago. Some of you might not experience that anymore. So my grass is growing so quickly. What are you talking about? Anyway, Knoxville today, high temperature 89. That might be pie in the sky. You might only get to 86. So you might get closer to 90. It's going to depend on the timing of those showers and storms and whether or not you get affected by what's coming down from the north now. So we got a little downpour across southeast Kentucky. It slides into Morristown. It might keep Morristown's temperatures down. For example, if you're headed out the door here on the 30th of July, may I recommend an umbrella to take with you, as you'll need it from time to time. May not be what you are greeted with first thing, but we should be around 76 at 10. I'm aiming for a high around 84 for Jonesville, 88 for Crossville, 86 for Oneida, and 87 for La Follette. So just keep a watchful eye on that. By the way, if you haven't picked up a bottle of the all-new brownie batter milk, ooh, it's yummy. It is chocolatey, it is delicious, and again, it's just one of the many creative, I should say, the creative flavors that Weigel's has been known to create for us. Available for a limited time. It's just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. The all-new brownie batter milk available at Weigel's. Pick up a bottle today. I think you'll be impressed, especially if you like chocolate milk. You owe it to yourself to not only pick up a bottle, but pick up two. You might be pleased that you did. By the way, the Hurricane Center now has a big area of concern that's going to affect perhaps the Bahamas and parts across Florida. Now, this may be one of those slow-moving systems where it could ruin a week's vacation at the beach. Maybe if not the whole week, half the week, because once it gets into areas around the Bahamas and Florida, it could get stuck, meaning there's nothing to kick it out. Have I set up the situation for you? If this gets into places like eastern Florida, Tybee Island, Myrtle Beach, it just gets stuck there. It's a possibility. And we'll be watching that slowly. It might just slowly creep along while the activity really is lighting up in the Pacific. But we really don't have too many concerns about Pacific. But they've got one or two additional storms that may be forming down there. There's a 60% chance that this could be named Debbie. And if your name is Debbie, and this is a slow-moving system, you're going to be talked about at the water cooler, I'm sure, for days, not weeks, but days to come. We are usually at this time of year, hurricane season. 'Tis the season, it ramps up. I'm always surprised when people say, I'm surprised, where did all this stuff come from? It's the season, right? We have ragweed season. That's starting up in another week or so, if it hasn't bothered you yet, but it's going to continue to grow, and hurricane season hasn't even reached its fever pitch, which will occur in the days and weeks ahead. Meanwhile, as we look at the names, we've got Debbie first, followed by Ernesto and Francine, all on the list. It is 6:54. We got more rain opportunities today and tomorrow. We've got, turning hotter and more humid, that's for sure. I think we'll have a better chance to hit 90 tomorrow, 91. And then it's unsettled this weekend, too, as you'll see in my 7-day forecast. Right now, it's 71 degrees. We have a 69-degree dew point, and we have a wind out of the southwest at 7. Here's where I expect to be later today. Again, low to mid-80s, maybe through midday, and may spike, depending on if the showers disappear. I think with the absence of rain, there's no reason we couldn't hit 88 or 89, but I left a 60% chance of showers and storms. That range of precipitation could easily be 60 to 80% across East Tennessee as a whole. There's less rain, though. Thursday and Friday, if you've got to do some mowing, the lawn has just kind of gotten unkempt. It needs mowing. You need some drier time. I think you'll find that Thursday and Friday, but it could easily return with the soggy weather on Saturday. Here's the Storm Prediction Center. Notice the colors. We've got more yellow, and that means us. You mean Knoxville? Yeah, we have the possibility of strong to severe storms today, and they might be scattered. But again, this outlook not only covers today, it covers tonight. So again, this is not just a one-for-all day. This could be in the overnight period as well, because this will take us to about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Scattered severe storms for St. Louis, Springfield. It also affects Knoxville, but if you're headed to the beaches, you might find some isolated severe storms there. Atlanta, Charlotte are included. Of course, Nashville, if we zoom in a little bit tighter, everybody in East Tennessee, essentially from Morristown southwestward, are under that scattered severe storm. So keep in mind, damaging wind would be the culprit, would be the main issue. Not expecting tornadoes per se, but I'm expecting damaging wind a possibility with some of these storms. Notice that yellow area is smaller tomorrow in Omaha, but isolated in Indianapolis and Louisville and Knoxville. So we have the isolated threat on Wednesday as well. Thursday, it continues to push to the north and east. Scattered severe storms in Indianapolis, in Columbus, and then back toward the beaches, we've got more activity for isolated severe storms Thursday. Thursday, not so much of a problem here, but Tri-Cities, northeastward, better chance of something forming that could be on the stronger side of the ledger. Here's the futurecast as we hit 6:56. Pick out your favorite region, because this was the macro view, I like to call it. Shows you where the fronts are and how they trigger more storms for the 5 o'clock drive home. That's why I say if you don't get wet this morning, you've got another chance later today and tonight. And it's really going to be on and off tonight. I think there's going to be a little impulse or two that could come down from Kentucky. That's where most of the rain will originate in this pattern. Once we move into Thursday, I think the rain chances drop off to about 30%, not as much on Thursday. And then, of course, the fronts either to the far west, far east, and Friday, I don't have much at all, just a 20% chance on Friday. So let's go ahead and dive in a little bit closer. I'd like to show you a different solution because not all models agree. Surprise, surprise. But look at the heavy rain at the top of your screen here. Notice where it's going. It's not headed in Knoxville, right? It's headed up toward Virginia, West Virginia. This one doesn't even want to bring it in the Tri-Cities, but we see it on that trend. Then by the time we hit 2 o'clock, new storms suddenly magically grow. New storms suddenly magically appear and start to populate like so. So by 4 o'clock, again, I left a 60% chance of rain and storms. Where it rains, it can pour, and then it moves toward the Smokies by 5 o'clock, and then it stops. So at least tonight, partly to mostly cloudy, a little bit of fog, but I think there could be another round in the overnight period like so. See what I mean? And by 6 or 5 or 6 in the morning, got another round that's coming down toward Hancock County, Hawkins County, maybe even Granger County in red. Some of those storms by tomorrow morning may again arrive long before the sun comes up. So just be mindful that even though it's quiet at midnight, it might still reappear before sunrise. By 2:30 Wednesday, you can see we've got more activity coming down. So it's just an unsettled pattern. Just be mindful that the umbrella will be helpful wherever you are. 89 degrees for today. That's my expectation. If we struggle to get there, that's okay. But I want you to be at least aware that we have at least a 60% chance of showers and storms. Could be as high as 80. Again, where these storms set up are going to be dependent. Our temperatures will be dependent on where these storms are located. 85 for a high temperature in Sevierville. Pigeon Forge, my expectation. 91 in Kingston, 88 in Crossville. It is 6:59. We're rolling in just on time. I love it. Today, looking for a high for travel purposes. 92 in Atlanta, 90 for Jackson, Tennessee, 97 for Jackson, Kentucky's 90, 97 for Jackson, Tennessee. Big difference there, 7 degrees. 90 for Charlotte, and if you were traveling to, say, Huntsville, they'll also be in the mid-90s. But for tonight, 71 is stuffy, partly becoming mostly cloudy overnight. Showers and storms a possibility, on and off, on and off. It's like turning on the faucet and turning it all back off again. But tonight, we're down to the low 70s for Knoxville, Maryville, 69 for Morristown, and 70 for Oak Ridge. Those are my expectations for low temperatures tonight and into tomorrow. Looking ahead to your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville and East Tennessee. Oh yes, 91. If you were hoping for 90s, it's only been 2 weeks. I know it feels like it's been humid, and it has, but when you couple it with humidity that's high and temperatures in the 90s, it's going to feel more oppressive. 94 for both Thursday and Friday. Less rain, more heat. That's the trade-off. 92 on Saturday. Those showers will be developing in the middle part of the afternoon, most likely. 90 on Sunday. Then we're back to the firecracker heat of 94. It looks like on Monday of next week. I want to say good morning to you if you're on the call. Very thankful for your comments. They've been coming in as I've been watching some of them trickle in. Got a new one from Yolanda. Yolanda says hello. She says, new respect for hurricanes, she says. Our vacation to Galveston was in 2 weeks. Got the call last week. Our resort got major damage, so no go thanks to Burl. Isn't that awful? I'm so sorry, Yolanda. Now, that's in a case situation where, again, we figure, well, it's over there, it's not going to affect me. Well, sometimes they do, right? If you've got plans to go to a certain destination, that's why I like to give you the bird's eye view. Yolanda, thank you for letting us know. She has basically pointed out, Burl got our destination in Galveston, our resort is gone. Is that not sad? That is also very sad, but I do want to wish you a good morning. She pointed that out earlier. Good morning, Yolanda. I hope you have a great morning. Mr. Bobinski is on here. We got Don. He says, good morning. Hope the rain holds off on Wartburg. He's got lots of yards to mow today. I understand that. Better chance for you, Don. You'll have a better time of it. I'm sure you're doing that as well. But Thursday, Friday are the less rainy days on the ledger, is the way I see it. By the way, if you haven't picked up a bottle of the Brownie, the all-new Brownie Buttermilk, it is delicious. It is chocolatey. Did I mention like triple chocolate? That's just me talking. I just love the Brownie Buttermilk. If you're a chocolate milk fan, you owe it to yourself to pick up a bottle. It is just better when it's fresh. Farm to store in 24. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. Who on earth would argue with that notion if you were in East Tennessee? I'd rather have it from the Tennessee cow. And it's just all new. The all-new Brownie Buttermilk. Check it out, the Brownie Buttermilk from Weigel's. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. We heard Fred. He was excited about the Weigel's coffee. You got to pick up some of that if you're filling up your tank a little bit later this morning or this afternoon. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate. So weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.